So this is something that I started noticing. A lot of people who make edgy jokes, provocative jokes, it feels like there's a big rise of that right now. Now, I'm not saying edgy jokes ever left, but it feels like a lot of times nowadays the people who are rising to popularity, because every year there's like a new person becoming famous or whatever. You're noticing that the ones being famous right now, a lot of it is because they're making super edgy jokes. They're saying something incredibly offensive. And the two people I use that as the best example are Zherka and N3on. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this is because I was going through Instagram just yesterday and I saw N3on on the For You page. Now, I don't follow him on anything. I don't follow him on Twitter, Instagram, or whatever, but it feels like everywhere I go, N3on's there. Like that Spider-Man meme of everywhere I go, I see his face. You know, it's a portrait of Iron Man. I see that with N3on. N3on's everywhere. YouTube Shorts, Twitter, TikTok. The few times I've used TikTok, he's there. I don't follow him on anything, and he's just there. And every time I catch him, it's he's making an Asian joke, he's making a Mexican joke, he's making a joke about fat women, he's making this, and it felt so off to me because I was thinking about it, I was like, back in 2020, 2021, this man wouldn't exist on the internet. He would have been canceled off the internet. So now I wanted to answer that question of why is it that nowadays, right, or at least right now, you're seeing that resurgence of what I like to call the 2017 era. Now, I contest this all the time. 2017, 2016, that was the best era of YouTube of all time. You had PewDiePie being funny as shit. I know people were like, but he was a Nazi. No, he wasn't. He was making Nazi jokes. He wasn't a Nazi, all right? If he was a Nazi, everyone would have known and he wouldn't have been popular. YouTube would have banned his account, but they didn't. It was just those fucking articles trying to ruin his life. But, you know, back in 2017, you had iDubbbz at his prime. iDubbbz used to be the most feared YouTuber of all time. Filthy Frank, who I still contest as the greatest YouTuber of all time, just doing his fun. Although around this 27, I believe in 2017, he only uploaded like two actual videos and then he uploaded like three music videos, I think. I remember he dropped Asian Pizza, Falcon Punch, and Nickelodeon Girls. I think those were the three songs he released in 2017. Look, I know my Filthy Frank lore. To me, he's the GOAT of YouTube. Like, no one has ever come through. Even the way he ended off, he didn't end off by falling off or anything. He literally ended at his prime and then boom. Nowadays, and even now, if you look at the comment sections on Filthy Frank's videos, it's literally just filled with people being nostalgic, being like, this was the GOATed era. Like, you can't find comments of the actual people in that time thinking it's funny. Now it's like people who live that time and they're talking about how it was funny back then. But right now, you're seeing that resurgence of that peak era of YouTube. And I'm not saying it's as peak, but what you're seeing is the similar jokes that were made back then are coming back now. N3on and Zherka, I would say, are the best examples. They're not the only examples. I've seen far more people bring back the edgy jokes. You know, Sneeko is one of them, but he's been doing this for a while. And now I want to wonder, why is it that it came back? Because we saw the beginning of that resurgence in 2022 when you saw the Tate brothers get popular, Andrew and Tristan Tate. Now I've actually talked about that before in a video, but I guess I'll bring it up again. Andrew and Tristan became popular because men got tired of women always, because it literally was that on the internet. You could say the most outlandish shit about men and no one would give a shit. You know, it was always kill all men are bad. Oh, real men don't rape. Oh shit, must have been a ghost. Then you remember that clip, and it became this weird era where if you're a man, you couldn't stand up for yourself. But then Andrew and Tristan, they filled in that void of we're tired of women just shitting on us, and then they rose to popularity alongside them, fresh and fit. While they were already popular, they boosted. And then you had Sneeko. This was, and I watched a lot of Sneeko back in the day, but his popularity was, it was crazy because Sneeko used to be one of my favorite YouTubers, and no one knew him. Like when I would talk about Sneeko, no one knew him at all. And now all of a sudden everyone knows about him, but they don't really know what he started off doing. They just know him as the guy that's doing live streams or whatever. I didn't know him as that. I knew him as this guy who made these intrusive little films about life, and I liked that back in New York. Um, but anyways, I wanted to talk about why is it that you're seeing it. So when they became popular, it almost like it's like the internet shifted. It's almost like the internet did like a U-turn and almost kind of being like, hey, you know what? Let's go back to that era. It's not at that point. You still have that fear of the yellow dollar sign. Now me, I'm demonetized on this channel. Now I'm not demonetized for anything like that. I'm demonetized because I posted a TikTok clip, which were my own clips, by the way. But watch my clips, I'm thinking of it. But what you're seeing now is N3on and Zherka are becoming popular. But those two, if you look at all of their content, it's making provocative jokes, especially Zherka. Zherka casually says the N-word. By the way, Zherka's not black. He casually says the N-word, and no one gives a shit. Similar to iDubbbz. iDubbbz would say the hard R too, and no one gave a shit. So now I wonder, why is it that all of a sudden these guys are popular? Why is it that, and there's other guys too, I've seen clips nonstop. Even like TikTokers are becoming popular after making edgy jokes. Why is it that now we're living on this weird era where they're popular when it used to be just a couple years ago that these people would have been seen as evil? That's exactly the answer though. Because if you were here on the internet, especially in 2020, 2021, and even the beginning of 2022, we saw an era of the internet where it was oversensitive. Overtly sensitive. It literally used to be that you couldn't make a joke unless it was on white men. If it was on a white straight dude, all jokes available. But everyone else was off limits. Oh, you made a Mexican joke? No. Oh, you made a gay joke? That's homophobia. You made a joke about this. You made a joke about that. Oh my gosh, you're going too far. You're going too far, man. So why is it that now the shift has begun? Well, I really think that the answer is right there. People miss that era where no one gave a shit. Because when you look at 2017, the jokes that were made, the reason why they were popular is because they were so provocative that no one could believe it. It's why PewDiePie, whether you want to deny it or not, those Nazi jokes were funny, and they still are, because a Nazi joke is so provocative that no one believes you're an actual Nazi. They just find it so funny that this thing you're taught and seen as the worst thing possible ever, all of a sudden you're just making jokes about it. And my belief is that you should, and look, on the channel, if you follow my channel, I make not safe for work jokes. I will make a race joke. I will make a sexist joke. I will make a homophobic joke. I will make all these jokes. Because at the end of the day, I believe you should be able to make a joke about anything as long as you're not ill intent. However, that's not what the internet agreed with back in 2022 or 2020, 2021. Back then, it was everywhere getting canceled. I remember I was on a live stream on a panel, and I remember this one guy said, "I love you guys." And I jokingly, just as a joke, said, "No homo." Now that joke is so normal. It's so casual. When we say the joke "no homo," it just means this thing, this thing that sounds gay. Just want to clarify, I'm not gay. Okay? And that was just a joke. I just said no homo. Everyone in the panel froze up. I could tell by the eyes and the expression of certain people. They were genuinely nervous. Like, they were like, oh my God, Dundo said a joke. Well, that's not what my YouTube name was at the time, but Dundo made a joke that could get us canceled. And this one guy, and this guy I'm a friend with, so I'm not going to say his name, but he said something like, you can't say that anymore. Now, I didn't say this in return, but this is something I was thinking about right after that, because then the stream ended. Not because of that, but that's because the stream was ending anyways. But I was thinking in my mind, it's like, is it because the joke is actually offensive, or is it because the internet programmed you to thinking it's offensive? Because, again, no homo is not supposed to mean we don't like homos, we don't like gays, we don't like queers, we don't like this. No, the joke usually just means, yeah, I'm not gay, but I'm saying something that might sound gay. That's the joke. That's just the joke. Oh, where's the punchline? Why do you need a punchline for everything? What am I, fucking Jerry Springer? Like, no, I'm not Dave Chappelle. I'm not Chris Rock. Like, the hell what did I say Springer? I actually don't know who that guy is, but I'm thinking of of Seinfeld guy. And that's what it used to be. And this is a true story. This is another true story. I remember I was on a group chat, and they were making all these jokes about different white people or something like that. Like, they even made Jewish jokes and everything. And for some reason, I just randomly, and this is true, On the group chat, I jokingly just said, I like making racist jokes. And I just said that randomly. I didn't even text on this group chat often. It's one of those group chats that you're just in, but you don't use. And then I got kicked out of it. And on Instagram, at least at the time, when you got kicked out of a chat, you could still read the last few chats you were on. And everyone's saying, you can't be around me making those jokes. You can't say this. You can't say that. I'm like, all I said is that I like racist jokes. You guys were making Jew jokes. You guys were making white jokes. You were making all these jokes, and then all of a sudden I just made a joke about I like racist jokes. Like all of a sudden, boom, like it's weird how we were programmed at the time. I remember there was this one time where on an Instagram story, someone put like an Instagram question like, "Are you supporting Trump or Biden?" This was during the election time, and then the next post, and I didn't vote on the post. The next post was a screenshot of all the people who voted for Trump, and they're like, these dirty people voted for Trump. Go show them no mercy. I was like, bro, what the hell? You're wishing the worst upon these people. These people thought this was a private fucking voting, and then all of a sudden you're fucking exposing them. Like, that's fucking inappropriate, bro. Like, that's fucking disrespectful. And again, in 2020, you saw that actor for the Flash TV show. He got fired because he made although his I don't think were jokes. I think he was being serious at the time, but he said some certain comments. You saw everyone left and right getting canceled. You saw these new people getting canceled. Even now, cancel culture is still a thing. Obviously, you saw certain people getting canceled and all that. Johnny Depp was one of the biggest cases of cancellation when you actually stop to think about it. There's so many people getting canceled. Now, I think sometimes it does work. EDP, that's the best example of someone getting canceled. I think he 100% deserved to get canceled. Although I wouldn't say he got canceled, I just say he got what he deserved. That's what I would say. But for the most part, it was just someone made a joke, and then all of a sudden everyone was like, oh, you're being insensitive, you're being this, you're being that. So now flash forward to 2023. I believe that the reason why you're seeing N3on, because I don't think N3on and Zherka would have risen if this was post from the years of 2018 or actually maybe 2018, because I know Ricegum, was Ricegum popular at the time? I don't freaking know. I don't care. But if it was like around the time of 2020 and 2022, I really think they wouldn't have blasted off to popularity as they are now. But I think what's happened, at least on the internet culture, is that people got tired of oh, we gotta silence ourselves for certain beliefs. We gotta silence ourselves for certain jokes. You can't say this, you can't say that. And if you're saying that this isn't true, remember last year, Dave Chappelle got canceled for making a trans joke. Dave Chappelle is the guy who's made multiple black jokes. Dave Chappelle has made jokes about every race, every ethnicity, has made jokes about everything. And all of a sudden, and now it's too far when he makes a trans joke. You literally had people boycotting at Netflix headquarters over Dave Chappelle making a trans joke. He didn't say something poorly about trans people. He just made a joke about trans people. That's it. And if you're trans out there, shut the fuck up. It's a joke. If you don't want your group having a joke made out of you, then I'm sorry, just shut the fuck up. How come Dave Chappelle can make all these jokes? And one of the best things Dave Chappelle said, and this is the best thing he's ever said, and I really respect him for it. He was told not to say the F slur. It was on this little thing. Now, to me, when it comes to slurs, don't say them, but I don't give a shit if you said them. At the end of the day, I'm not going to police you or anything. I'm not that guy. Even if you say a harsh slur, I'm just going to be like, okay, I'll move on now. That's something that I've learned throughout the last year or so. But Dave Chappelle said the F slur in one of his stand-ups. But at the same time, he also said the hard R N-word. Now, when he got off the stage or something like that, someone told him, hey, can you please not say the F slur? And I think he responded with saying, how come you don't want me saying the F slur, but I can say the N-word? And the guy was like, oh, it's because you're not gay. And then he responded with, I'm not an N-word either. And I'm like, bro, that's fucking badass, bro. That's really badass. But that's just an interesting thing. I actually had something similar. I know I'm constantly rephrasing stories, but in 2019 or 2018, I had this friend, and he was one of my close friends. Now, I'm Hispanic. I'm gonna remind everyone of that. I don't mind when someone calls me a beaner or spick, as long as you're a homie of mine. And this includes all of you guys watching this. If you call me a beaner, spick, wetback, immigrant, I don't give a shit what you call me, as long as you're, again, when I said it earlier, I mean it. As long as you're not ill intent. As long as you're genuinely not trying to be a dickhead about it, I don't mind. I don't care. So this was a white friend of mine. He jokingly was like, come back here, Jose." Or I think I was like, I don't remember, but I think I was walking out of the classroom or something. And I was like, "Come back here, Jose, you fucking immigrant." And this white girl next to us got really mad. She was like, "That's very insensitive. Don't make that." And I will admit, I shouldn't have risen my voice at her, but I did get mad at her. I was like, "No, he can say that joke. He's a close friend of mine. I'm literally Hispanic. Shut the fuck up." And then I was just like thinking to myself, like, why is it that she felt the need to say that was an insensitive joke or something like that? And I think this goes back to 2020. I really think that what happened was there was so many people trying to be the hero. I think so many people, especially on the internet, wanted that hero complex, wanted that, because 2020 was a big year. We had the COVID, the pandemic, killing multiple people. We had the BLM riots going on, and then on top of that, we had the election. Those are three major things. I really think 2020 will be a year that's on textbooks. Like, I know we made memes of that at the time, but I really think that's true. Like, 2020 was that big of a year that there's so much that happened with the internet, culture, BLM riots, all that. And I really think that 2020 people wanted to be heroes. And because they wanted to be heroes, they forgot the truth of life. And that is, we should be able to make jokes about our circumstances. I will make jokes about my weight because I don't care. Some of y'all may say that's fat phobic. Cool, I am fat phobic. I don't think anyone should be fat, including me. Now, I've actually worked on it this year, losing 40 pounds this year. But I will make jokes about that. I'll make jokes about my big forehead. Look, I got a big ass fucking forehead. All right? I'll make jokes about anything with my friends. I'll make jokes about whatever, because at the end of the day, jokes are just a way to laugh through the pain. Life is boring if you're not making jokes. Like, I'm sorry, but I make jokes about things because to me, it's boring to just walk around and not think of anything. Like, if I'm just walking around being like, "That's socially unacceptable. You can't say that. You can't do this. You can't do that." It's boring. It's boring as shit. And this includes YouTubers too. If you're a YouTuber who will only make certain jokes on like white people, because Hassan's a good example of this. If you only make jokes of white people, eventually your jokes are going to run out. And to prove to you guys that I can make white jokes as much as I can, here, crackers, honkies, trailer trash, white trash, or whatever. I can say all these things. No one gives a shit, but I say anything about any other group, boom, it's over. It's over. It's over. It is really done. And that's another video for another day about the double standards with white people on the internet. But I think it's boring to just live life, not having fun. It's boring to go around being like, "That's an insensitive joke." And I sometimes, because I really think what a lot of 2020 was, it's a lot of young people who don't really have many experiences in the world, just going out of the way to pretend to be a hero, pretend to think that they're doing the right thing, that they're on the right side of history. When really, I think at the end of the day, all you did was over-police on stupid things, you know? And that's it at the end of the day. And I think that's why you're seeing now there's almost an era of, I mean, even if you go on Instagram, and I'm being serious, on Instagram, you can look through a meme and all you see in the comments is spamming little N-word with an A, just spamming little N-word, little N-word, little N-word. That's Instagram right there, bro. And I'm not justifying that, by the way, but I think the reason why you're seeing edgy jokes coming back, why you're seeing edgy culture coming back, is because you push it to that way where it's almost like, bro, we're just done with that. Let's move on. You know, it's why you don't see N3on or Zherka getting canceled, or even Sneeko anymore, because people just don't care anymore. They don't care because they missed that time where all you did was make a joke and you didn't have to think about the social political state of the world. You know, like Jaden Smith said, you know, there was a time where you made a joke and all you were thinking about was having fun with your friends. But in 2020, it made it to a point where if you made a joke 10 years ago, James Gunn's a good example of this. If you made a joke 10 years ago, Matt Jarbo's a good example of that. For those that don't know him, just search him up. Polly the Polar Bear. Search that up. But it used to be a time where you can make these jokes. And I know certain jokes I will say are inappropriate, but it used to be this weird time where where if you made a joke just 10 years ago, it got so bad that people would bring that up and be like, look, this person's evil, this person's vile, and cruel, and disgusting. And I really believe now people are just done with that. They're done with that. They don't want to feel like they're being policed. Why is it that if I'm just hanging with my boys, and I won't lie to you, when I hang out with my homies, I make some of the most. We make some. I'm telling you, when you see that meme of the group chat getting leaked, if my group chat with my boys gets leaked, we're fucking over, bro. It's fucking done, bro. We're gonna be seen as like terrorists. We're gonna be seen as worse than the KKK. We're gonna be seen as worse than the fucking Nazis. We're gonna be seen as worse than all. By the way, I'm being hyperbolic, but that's just the truth. Sometimes you just want to goof around with your homies, and when you're not thinking about, the racism of the world or the sexism or anything like that, you're not thinking about that shit. You're just thinking about goofing around with your homies. The same applies for me when it comes to some of you guys. When I talk to you guys, whether it's on a live stream, whether it's on a Discord call, or whether it's on a Twitter chat or whatever, to me, I just see it as we're just hanging out. We're just goofing. We're just busting each other's balls. That's all we're doing. But that era where it was like, if you made a certain joke at one point in your life, even if it's a decade old at this point, oh, you're a bad man. You're the boogeyman. You're fucking Hitler Jr. now. You're that bad. And I really think that now in 2023, it's different. Now it's like edgy jokes are back, and I'm happy for that. I'm actually happy. And look, I don't watch N3on. Bro, I'm not going to lie to you. I want someone like N3on to exist. Now, I'll admit the one thing that frustrates me with N3on is he will talk shit behind the screen, but he's like this skinny little Indian kid. It's like it's annoying that someone like him is talking shit when obviously he can't. And I'm not promoting violence, but like if you're gonna talk shit, you better be able to handle it in the streets. That's all I'm saying. But the jokes he makes of certain comedies he does is so over the top that it reminds me of 2017. N3on to me feels like someone who is from like a multiverse where 2017 was still like the 2017 YouTube climate carried on in 2023, and for some reason some ripple effect and like some incursion just happened across two Earths, and he got transported to our Earth. And N3on feels like that. N3on feels like someone who would be in that era. And funny enough, he's hanging out with Rice Scum, so it almost feels like, oh shit, like we really are going back to that era. So my final saying, and all I gotta say is, have fun while it lasts. Especially if you're young, have fun. All right, if you've made a racist joke, as long as you're not being a shitty person, as long as you're not being ill intent. I think it was a month ago at this point, KSI got canceled because he said the word Paki in a fucking video. And by the way, I'm American, all right? Literally got the flag right there, I don't think. And he said that word and in a joking way. And all of a sudden, he had to apologize to everyone. People got frustrated at him, all that. When he was just saying it in a joking way. It's like, to me, it's almost like, bro, like, what are we doing? Paki is literally just short for Pakistan. Like, how the hell is that a slur? It's almost like the word tranny. Tranny is short for fucking trans. Or a funny way of saying trans. It's so weird what we've done. Like, that's why, honestly, I'm being serious. If you call me a beaner, I don't care. Beaner is literally the word bean, and then you just add in it. Okay, that now sounds wrong because now we're thinking of the hard R N word, but I don't care because I don't give a shit. Let's just have fun. Especially with KSI, where with KSI, it's not like he was in this public space talking to Pakistani people. He literally was just goofing around with some of his best friends who had been his best friend before, or at least before he got popular from YouTube. And that's why I gotta say, everyone watching this, relax, calm down, just have fun while it lasts. All right? Because one day we're gonna die. And I'm sorry, but when we die and we go to Judgment Day, God's not gonna be there being like, oh, well, you made this joke in 2012 about Asian people. Oh my God. You made this joke about Muslims back in the day. You made this joke about white people. Or, well, actually, no one cares about those jokes for some reason. You made this joke about Mexicans, about gays. You made all these jokes back in the day. Oh my God, man. Oh, you can't go to the gates of heaven. you're unforgiven. The Twitter mob canceled you, so I don't want to be canceled from Twitter, so you can't be here. All right, you can't go through the gates. Like, nah, God doesn't care. So why should the rest of us care? At the end of the day, and all I gotta say is, don't seek forgiveness from the internet. Seek forgiveness from the only word that matters, and that word is from the word of God. And I'm being serious when I say that. So when you get canceled for a joke you made years ago, seek God. And I know one day, and I've said this many times. If I ever get famous, obviously I'm not famous on YouTube. I only got 2,000 subscribers, and I'm still grateful for that. I don't care. But if I ever got famous from YouTube, I would get canceled, and I know that for sure. Because I've made so many jokes. Even on this video, I guarantee you there's like a statement that someone's going to clip out and be like, oh, and I know I've made mistakes in the past. I know I've said stupid things. I know I've said things that I disagree with. At the end of the day, I'm not going to delete my video. I'm not going to apologize for anything. At the end of the day, I'm going to be my real, authentic self. And if you don't like that, cool. You have free will. You can choose whether you stay. You can choose to leave. That's up to you. I don't make that decision for you. Okay? Most of you guys are adults. Don't let me choose what you watch on YouTube. If you're watching this at the 26-minute mark, thank you. Even if you're hate watching, thank you. But what I am going to tell you this is, are you going to stand and be miserable about a joke someone else said? Or are you just going to live life and have fun? I'm not saying you have to make these jokes also too. If you find these jokes uncomfortable, that's up to you. But don't try ruining somebody's reputation because of a joke they made. Okay? I don't care anymore. That's a lesson that I've learned throughout this past year, because I remember when I was at my big YouTube peak. I wouldn't say it's the peak of my peak of YouTube, I would say has been the last few months. But before that peak, the best peak I had was last year in the summer, when I feel like I went overly liberal, I went overly woke, and I put that in quotation marks because I don't like that word. I feel like that word's been overused. I went through this phase of my life where, because I was so much on the internet, because I was so focused on doing the movie talk things, and because I was in these liberal spaces, I feel like I lost myself in a way. I felt like I was so forced into trying to make a certain type of content because I was in certain spaces, and because I really wanted this to be my life. I felt like I tricked my mind into believing things I didn't believe, where for some reason in my mind I was thinking about how there's more than two genders, and I was thinking about how oh, you can't make a joke about this thing, you can't make a joke about that thing, you can't do this, you can't say this, you can't say that. That was the mindset I had. And some of y'all that have been watching, y'all probably don't think that, because I still made edgy jokes. But I remember I was a hypocrite. I won't lie to you, I was a hypocrite about certain things that I said, certain things that I did in that 2022 era. And I regret a lot of it. And that's why a lot of times I try to teach, because one thing I learned, especially this year, is that I have a lot of young men watching me. That sounds weird, but I have a lot of younger guys watching me. And I feel like sometimes I have that responsibility of being, maybe I'm not this, but a big brother to a lot of you guys. I didn't really have a big brother growing up. I did have one, but he was like 11, I think he was 11 years older than me, so that's a complete big difference in life, bro. By the time I was 6, he already had a kid. So I was an uncle at the age of 6. I'm not joking. I've been an uncle a long time now. But it's something that I feel like I got that duty without realizing it, and it's made me more wanting to be honest with myself, because to me it's hypocritical if I'm saying certain things but I don't genuinely believe it. That, and I know this sounds off topic, but there was a point when I was doing that where I genuinely just, it's almost like I tricked my mind into thinking certain things. I was nervous of getting canceled. I remember when I made those Ezra Miller videos, I remember I was so scared of saying he or him rather than they or them, which, by the way, Ezra's a he. He has a penis. I don't give a shit. But that's another conversation for another day. I remember I was so nervous of messing up that someone would come after me and be like, oh, you didn't say the right pronouns, or I made a certain joke. Like, if you notice in those videos, I remember I made a lot of white jokes, because for some reason white jokes were the only jokes that you could make without getting in any trouble. Like literally, I'm gonna make another video on that specifically because I really think that's a topic in and of itself. But there was a time where I would make jokes about white people almost to compensate for the fact that I am an edgy person, but because I was forced, or this is obviously it was obviously my choice, but I was almost pushed to be in those like sensitive spaces that I almost forced myself into wanting to be myself, but I couldn't. And that's a lesson I learned. But now that I've gone older, and now that I've learned, especially because most of those people turn their backs on me, I've learned now that I have a platform, and maybe it's not a big one, but I also feel responsible that I want to make sure to tell all you guys my beliefs and what I genuinely think. And I really think these are good things, because at the end of the day, living life being nervous about what the internet thinks, or living life being scared of a joke you can or can't make, it's a shitty life to live. It really is. I think a lot of these people that get so involved in Twitter and cancel culture, I really think a lot of these guys are depressed. They're probably college kids, never had any real experience outside of that in their life, never had to worry about money on the table. I think a lot of them, I genuinely think, are depressed. They're sad. And because of that sadness and that pain, they feel like they need to push it on to other people. And they think that they're being heroes because they have such a miserable life, whether it's student loan debts, or whether it's the fact that they can't, or when they graduate college, they can't get a job automatically. I genuinely believe all that piles up, and they think that the only thing they can do when they're on the internet is being a hero, and I think that canceling someone for a joke means nothing. It really does. The Ukrainian war, there's people dying out there. The immigrants trying to come into America, they're suffering in Mexico with the cartels and all that. The Israel-Palestine, there's people dying in Israel or Palestine or the Gaza or whatever. I don't fucking know anything about that conflict, but there's people dying out in the world, and you're focusing over someone making a stupid fucking joke. Like, just have fun while it lasts. Okay, just enjoy life. Who cares what Andrew Tate said about Canadians? I know he made a Canadian joke or something like that, but who cares what he says? Life's too short to focus on these fucking strangers that you're never gonna meet in your personal life. Life's too short. Work on yourself. Maybe instead of being on Twitter complaining about the same person every day, go to the gym, read your Bibles, do something worth living. Because when you're older, when you are much older in your life, and you're, 60 years old, let's say you're 60, you're a grandparent by this point, you've lived life, you had a couple kids. My goal is to have multiple kids. I want to have a minimum 4 kids. I want to have a big family, all right? When you're older in life, what are you going to tell your kids? Because I think some of the best moments I had in my life was when an older family member of mine would tell me stories about their youth, where I'd be like, oh shit, I didn't know about this. Are you going to tell them about the fun you had with your homies, making jokes, just goofing off? Or are you going to tell them about, oh, I canceled this one guy on Twitter because he said something racist 10 years ago. Like, what's the story you're going to tell them? Are you telling me that your whole life is just going to be about, yeah, I was depressed, student this person made a joke, I'm being serious with you guys. What is the legacy that you leave on? Because every day you're on this earth, you leave a legacy behind. One day we will all die. We will. That's the truth of life. Oh, that's too controversial to answer, but one day we will all die. We don't know when. It could be today. It could be tomorrow. It could be in the next 5 days, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I don't know. I don't choose that for y'all. Are you going to go down and just be this boring little bitch who made his life on the internet and nothing more? Or are you going to seize the moments and leave a legacy that your kids are going to tell their kids about? Are you going to live this life thinking about all the wonderful accomplishments you made along the way, the journey you made, or you're going to tell them about how depressed you were, that you felt like you needed to put that pain on Twitter. You know, that's, I think, something that really needs to be said. Because to me, I want to use these videos in a way to show my kids how it was when I was younger. I never want to quit YouTube. I might have moments where I'm not uploading for a while. Obviously, life gets in the way. But I want to be able to show, especially the vlogs. Like, that's the thing I number one want to show my kids when they're older. I want to be able to just, they ask me, how were you like when you were younger? Pull up my channel and be like, that's what I was like. Because I started this channel when I was 18, I think. Right when I was still in high school when I started this channel. I can show them some clips of that. I can show them clips of me when I was in my early 20s, going broke, what my beliefs were, what I genuinely thought. But the number one things I want to show them are the vlogs I've made with my friends on my second channel. Those are the things that I genuinely believe that my kids are going to appreciate, because they're going to see me. That's something that I think it's different from our generation compared to the older generations. Older generations don't have as much footage of themselves. Well, now we all have 4K cameras everywhere we go. You know, like, they probably every once in a while they had a camcorder or something that they could maybe record, like maybe something special like the wedding or something. Like, for me, my parents growing up, I only had like very few pictures of them, like very few. Like, my dad at one point looked like brown Pablo Escobar. I'm not even joking. Like, he had like a bit of an afro with the mustache, but he was brown. And I remember always laughing, like being like, bro, you look like Pablo Escobar at one point. And I was thinking, oh shit, did I just inherit a cartel drug lord? Unfortunately, I didn't, but he didn't have the hair anymore. But and that's like a thing that I was just thinking about. I was like, you know, what if I had these videos just to show my kids like how I talked, how I acted. Not only that, but my bedroom. You know, my bedroom. This is a bedroom that I obviously nearly every video I've recorded has been in. That's something cool, and it's a legacy you leave behind. And I know it's so off topic of me talking about that, but to me, genuinely, it's something that I've just thought about. What is the legacy I'm gonna have when I pass? You know, what is the moments I'm gonna have? Like, even on this channel alone, I've had really long hair, I've had a buzz cut, I've had, I don't know what it's called, but like the trend nowadays, or it's been a trend for a while, where it's just you have a fade on the side and you have a little bit long on top. Like, I've had different hairstyles. I've had a beard. I've been shaved. I've done this. There's been times where I was really, really fat. Now I'm not as fat, but you have moments like that. I had different shirts. You know, I've had so many things, and it's like a weird reflection, and it's a weird legacy. It's these are kind of moments I cherish, and that's why I don't delete videos. Like, I remember I used to delete videos, but I was like, nah, keep those videos, because what if my mind changes? I can use that as reference, as being like, this is how I used to talk, this is how I used to act, this is the way I used to think, and all that. And it's just weird. That's why nowadays I don't live with me caring about if I get, because that was something I genuinely have. Like, I'm not joking, because to me, I never knew if one of my videos would ever boost in popularity. Like, I remember, I think it's my most viewed video. I said the R slur in the video. And I remember all the comments were like, don't say the R slur, don't say the R slur. I remember I was really nervous. I was like, is this going to get me in trouble? Oh no. And now I'm older. I'm like, I don't give a fuck, okay? I don't give a fuck. I really don't. Okay, those are strangers that never showed up in my video ever again. So why do I care what strangers who don't watch my videos care about my video, all right? What I care about is the people who are watching me consistently. You know, that's what I'm thinking about. Like, if it's a person that has been on my channel who has watched my videos and they tell me, hey, I didn't like the take you had on this video, I don't like the new style of videos or whatever, that's the opinion that I respect the most. Like, even if it's something I disagree with, I'll still listen and be like, okay, maybe I can, maybe I can't, I don't freaking know. Like, that's genuinely what I think. But I don't know, it's just, I feel like I'm getting older. I know I'm only 21. I'm gonna turn 22 in 2 months. I know people see this as, oh, you're still a young 20 guy. And I know that damn well, but it's weird because some of the thoughts I've had this year, like, it's weird because 2023 has been the biggest year that I've reflected on my life. Like, because this talk of legacy, this talk of having multiple kids and keeping my bloodline strong, being a man and everything, that's something that didn't really pop into my mind until now. And I know minds don't fully develop until I think you're 25, so I still have a ways to go. Maybe next year I'm going to sound completely different, maybe in 2 years from now, 3 years from now. And I know I'm still young, but that's what I want my channel to be. On my channel, I just want it to be me just going through life and just talking about things. You know, that's why I left Movie Talk. I also felt when I left Movie Talk, it wasn't just that I hated nerd communities and nerd spaces. It also felt like I grew out of it. It felt like I got too old for it, and that I didn't want my entire legacy on the internet just to be about, oh my god, I got this Batman movie. Oh, I have Batman right here. Look, guys, I have a Blu-ray Batman. Oh my god, guys, I have freaking Aquaman, Wonder Woman. I have freaking the entire James Bond, Daniel Craig collection. Oh my god, guys, look, I have this freaking Indiana Jones box. I have this freaking Star Wars box. Oh my god, look, it's the OG trilogy that I wasn't even alive to watch. Oh my god, guys, I got the entire Fast and Furious It's so weird how I'm pulling. I mean, to be fair, I'm on my shelf. If you've seen my videos from over there, this is my shelf. Oh my god, guys, I got the Fast movie 8 movie collection. Even though two new movies, I don't have Hobbs and Shaw, I don't have Fast 9, and I don't have Fast X. No. Oh my god, guys, I have this Across the Spider-Verse Burger King cop. Like, oh my god. Like, okay, now I'm just fucking being a dickhead about it. But like, I didn't want my legacy just to be, oh my god, I talked about a movie, which I don't mind talking about movies. That's actually what my second channel might be. It's not going to be movie news ever, but it's going to be sometimes there's going to be a thing that I want to talk about, and that's what my second channel is. I don't just want to be known as that guy. I want to be someone who genuinely puts his thoughts and insights on things that I genuinely believe in, you know? And that's just me. I'm always going to be honest. That's the number one thing I can assure you. Maybe you won't like my videos. Maybe one of you guys might grow out of my videos. Maybe even you guys who, if y'all have notifications on or subscribe or anything, maybe some of y'all will be like, hey, he's kind of getting boring now. I don't like him anymore. Yada, yada, yada. Look, whatever it is, I'm always going to respect it. But my channel is not just going to be me just doing boring shit. It's going to be me talking about what I genuinely believe. It's a conversation channel. I don't even like calling it a commentary channel. I like calling it a conversation channel. I want it to be me talking about whatever I want whenever I can, and just having fun along the way and being able to meet new people along this journey. You know, I don't just want to be bored all the time having to feel like I need to live for somebody else. That's the number one thing I can assure you guys. I'm always going to be honest. Whether that honesty is a negative or positive, that's up to you guys to decide. But I'm going to be honest because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that makes us unique. Or at least on YouTube. On YouTube, if you're not being honest, then you're not unique anymore. You're just another NPC in the program. But when you're honest, at least you know that, hey, you went out saying the truth. You know, it doesn't matter if I have all these freaking movies. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What is the legacy you leave behind? What are the things you're saying? What are the things you believe? What is it that you what's the impact in the world? I think that's something that made me also want to leave Movie Talk, was seeing that these adults, I felt like, could have used their time to talk about the world, talk about things that they believe, especially when they're older, when they're wiser, rather than just, oh my god, guys, I got Mission Impossible movies. Look, my Mission Impossible movies. I'm not even that big of a fan of Mission Impossible. I just got this because it was on Black Friday 2 years ago, and it was like $5 for, how many Mission Impossibles are there? 5 movies. Yeah, 5 Mission Impossible movies for $5. So I thought that was dope. Not even a big fan of the movies. I was like, that's a steal, and they're big movies. I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually might sell this. I might sell this. Now that I'm thinking about it, because if I got this for $5, bro, I mean, I wouldn't make much. I'd probably only make $10 from it, but like, still, bro, I don't give a shit about Mission Impossible that much, bro. Okay, and I was only Tom Cruise fans. I mean, like, what's Scientology? Hell, Scientology, Top Gun. Look, guess what? Also, fucking Top Gun here. All right. Wait, do I have it here? Yeah, I have a fucking DVD Blu-ray disc. All right. So don't come at me and say you're disrespecting you're disrespecting Tom Cruise. I have fucking Top Gun right here. All right. Pull out fucking 2 movies. All right. And this movie. I don't even know, bro. I'm fucking talking. I'm talking about fucking movies right now, bro. That's so fucking stupid. Although, I did get. I don't know why. I'm just randomly talking at this point, but this fucking thing. This is actually one of my memorable things I have. It's when I graduated high school. So I'm from Texas. Whataburger is a big deal. They did this collaboration with Whataburger. So these things, these plaque things, These are things that they give you at Whataburger. So like when you order something, they give it to you, and it's like number 50 or number 37. So this was for me. It says class of 2020. Yes, I'm a 2020 guy. I grew up, or not grew up. I graduated during the pandemic. I didn't have prom. Fun. That's actually a fun fact. I know everyone's like, bro, 2020. I won't lie to you. 2020 kids. It's weird because there's 2020 kids I've seen on Twitter or Instagram that'll be like, I didn't have a prom, I didn't have a proper graduation. I was like, I didn't give a fuck, bro. Prom is a hoax, bro. You're paying $70 to see a girl in a dress. All right, that's all you're doing. All right, because let's be honest, guys don't care about dancing. Like, you're paying $70 to see a girl in a dress. You just fuck her for free in the back of your car, bro. Just let's be honest. Let's be honest. But that's like I say, man, live in the now. Live now, because you never know when that time's coming where you can't live anymore. And I know that sounds dark, but it's the truth. It's the unfortunate truth that we have to live in. But if you're right with God, you don't have to worry about that truth coming in. You celebrate, in fact. But that's all I gotta say, man. I know this video is way too long than it should be. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. If you're someone who still is upset by what I said in this video, all I can tell you is peace and love. Have a wonderful life. And I hope one day you understand the truth of life. And that's the truth, is that no one gives a shit. I made a video, and this will be the last thing I'll talk about because this video is now way too long. I made a video, I think, last week, and it was about mental health and how I think we live in this time where people will tell you that, oh, go see therapy, go this, go that. And I made a video on that. And it was a video I recorded like a month or so ago because it was a moment of distress that I had. And for some reason, when I was going through that distress, because there's been times where I've made a video where I've been really upset. And I feel like sometimes YouTube is the only way I can cope with that by talking to you guys. I remember I made that video like over a month ago, and you can tell because I had my long hair, which is weird. No one told me anything about that, but I made that video because in that moment I was so distressed, and I was thinking to myself, you hear all these people talk about, oh, depression is so difficult, my mental health, and something that for some reason in that moment that broke in my mind was, no one gives a shit about you. No one does. Not even your therapist. Your therapist is only there because they want your greens. They want the pictures of the presidents that you have in your pocket. That's all they want. That's all the world wants. And so when someone tells you depression, mental health, to me that's just a way of the world trying to slow you down. Because if you're so overtly focused on that, I really think that all that's going to happen is that it makes you depressed. To me, I'd rather live life depressed but not telling myself depressed than actually being depressed and then telling myself I'm depressed. Because I feel like depression is a mindset. I really think it's a mindset that you get so forced into because it's almost a way of coping with the fact that you're a fucking loser. And that's something I've learned, because there's been times where I was depressed and I just say, oh, I'm sad and I can't do anything. And then I learned, okay, I can't do anything, but it's not like someone's going to pick me up. And I made that video, and I had a person get upset at me, message me telling me about how, suicide and all that. And I was like, look, that video was not meant for those people. This video was meant for the people who just tell themselves that they can't do it, because that's something I've lived my life with. I lived my life in fear. I've lived my life in thinking that I couldn't fix a certain issue. There's moments in my life where I'm reflecting on a moment where I could have changed it. Sometimes I'm like, I wish I was the Flash, where I could run back in time and change certain things, but I can't, because that's just not possible. I have to live forward. And when I'm sad or depressed or I'm having mental health issues, I don't have someone that will pick me up and say, hey, we're doing this together. No, I'm literally on my own for everything I do. Every time I've had struggles, I don't go and talk to people, because I know that talking to them, all it's going to do is reveal the secrets of your pain. And at the end of the day, you just end up looking like a bitch. And to me, I'd rather not look like a bitch, pick myself up, and do what I need to do as a man to succeed. Maybe that's harmful. I don't know, but that's just what I believe. That's just what I believe. Okay? But that's all I gotta say. that's it for the video. I know I've rambled on. I like these videos where I just talk. That's actually one thing that, I find unique. When I used to do my videos from my actual camera and all that, I used to pause, I used to do certain things, but it's kind of weird that I like just recording and just talking. And I feel like it's almost made me appreciate YouTube more in a way. And I feel like sometimes, even though my content is not better produced, I feel like it's better set. I feel like the way I'm talking is much better than I was a couple months ago. Which my content a couple of months ago, I would say that was peak content, but I don't know, man. I don't freaking know. I'm rambling on too much. I'll talk to you guys next time, bro. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day or night, whatever time you're watching this video. I don't know when I'll release it. By the point you're watching this, I released an Amber Heard video the day prior. So that's all I gotta say. Thank you guys for watching. Hope to see y'all in the next one. And I keep looking over there, bro. I forget the camera's right there. And I know I said that at the beginning. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to stay sober, stay sexy, live in the now, and ciao.